All right, welcome everyone to the first in a series of webinars to explain the new virtual trade show landscape that we're doing here at Exponents. I hope you find this informative and interesting, and if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Obviously, from a housekeeping perspective, that would be the first thing to cover. If you do have any questions during the course of this presentation, please hold them until the end. We'll have a Q&A session. If they're about to slip out of your mind, please do send them via text in the Zoom app, and I promise by the end of the Q&A session, I'll have gone through every question that you may have and give you an answer. At the end, I'll also be posting my contact information. If a question occurs to you after the conclusion of this webinar, then by all means give me a call or reach out via email, and I promise I'll respond to your question as soon as possible. Also, this webinar is being recorded at the end of this presentation. Each one of the participants in this webinar will be sent a link to this recording. You can review it at your leisure. Please also feel free to share this with anyone in your organization or outside of your organization who may like to find out some more information on this, or anyone who has any other interest in virtual trade shows. First off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Keith Serrata, and I'm the Vice President of Operations and Chief Operating Officer for Exponents here in the United States. I'm based in San Diego, California, and it's a nice sunny day today, as it usually is in Southern California. I hope the weather is good where you are. With that, let's begin. Let's start with going back to the root of this new terminology, and let's start with the word virtual itself. In this context, what does the word virtual mean? Well, the literal definition of virtual is not physically existing as such, but made by software to appear to do so. A virtual experience is where we're feeling immersed in a simulated world. A good example of that would be virtual reality. I'm sure a lot of us have had the opportunity to try out a virtual reality experience, whether it's a game or some other type of virtual experience. And what that does is it's simulating a real world environment using software, hardware, displays, graphics capabilities to give you the feel of a 3D real world touch and feel environment within a digital environment. Virtual exhibits themselves are designed to be immersive, experiential, and they're usually self-guided. So why are we here today in this webinar? In one simple word, COVID. COVID has obviously been an issue since February of this year, and throughout the world, as a result, most large gatherings are banned. It's going to take time for exhibitors and visitors to gain confidence to go back to either exhibit or visit a site in person. And of course, as exhibitors, what we're all feeling is a loss of the leads that we were getting from these exhibitions. In addition, exhibitors are looking for new and innovative opportunities to connect and interact with customers. Obviously, we're missing out on that FaceTime, and we really want to be able to capture that individual one-on-one interaction. It's really important when it comes to capturing those leads. Virtual is the new buzzword. Most shows are going virtual these days. Everyone's learning and developing virtual marketing tools, know-how, infrastructure. We're all kind of learning on the fly and inventing things as we go along. And it's important to make sure that we all keep that in mind and that this environment is going to change and continue to change. Of course, if we look to the future, obviously, a crystal ball would tell us that at some point, hybrid is going to become a combination of a virtual and a physical environment. There will be times when customers or exhibits may want to create both a physical space where returning people can visit in person, and also a virtual environment for those who aren't feeling comfortable or aren't able to travel. And it's going to be important to combine these two into one seamless experience. So who are we at Exponents and what do we do? We create customized virtual spaces. They're designed to offer striking and engaging, highly functional alternatives to support physical locations. The design environment is meant to run on all devices seamlessly and to provide an immersive experience for all of your clients. It can be hosted on your website, or we can develop a microsite for you. It's also scalable, extendable, and reusable. And you can create your own events and meetings. Today, our 101 lecture is going to cover 4 main topics: virtual trade shows or a virtual conference, a virtual trade show booth, and a virtual showroom or experience center. To help me out with my presentation today, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Rajnikant Kedia is the Chief Executive Officer of Exponents and also the Managing Director of Instagroup Worldwide. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Kedia. And Rajnikant, this is where you're going to present these 4 overview sections. I'm going to kind of, for the purposes of timing, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of explanation of these just as I see it, but this is really your opportunity to discuss these 4 in any kind of way that you want to do it. So I'm just doing this to try to capture some amount of time for the timing's sake, but obviously you feel free to extemporize, to elaborate anything you want when it comes to these sorts of topics. So first off is a virtual trade show. Just as in, we'll call it the before times, when we had actual trade shows, physical trade shows, we would travel to San Diego or Orlando or New York. We would all congregate in a communal space, and we would exhibit each other's wares and walk between booths and see what there is to offer in the marketplace. A virtual trade show is designed to do the exact same type of thing, but done on a virtual platform. In other words, I can be here in San Diego, you can be wherever you are, whether it's Chicago or Seattle or Miami. And when we all log in at a pre-designed time and website location, we can do basically the same thing, travel from booth to booth, explore whatever market opportunities are out there, interact with clients, do our networking, that sort of thing. When you go to a virtual trade show, for those of you who haven't been before, normally what will happen is when you get into the trade show, just like a traditional trade show, you'll see that it begins with a main hall or a lobby. This is similar to like a teleconference where you might wait in a lobby until you're admitted in for like a Zoom meeting, perhaps like today, for example. This is an opportunity for you to begin to understand the space virtually just as you would in a physical space. So a virtual conference here, this is giving you an example of one particular type of a virtual lobby. It's showing you that there are obviously different locations. There's a career hall, expo hall, training, and auditorium. Each of these would be interactive, so you could click your mouse on here and it would take you to these different venues. Again, designed very similar look and feel to a physical space, but all of it is going to be virtual. So now we get to a virtual booth. Traditionally, there are 2 different ways to approach a virtual trade show booth. One would be one that is supplied by the show organizers. A virtual booth in this environment supplied by a show organizer usually comes down to the following criteria. It's usually a 2D booth. It'll include your company name and logo, your profile, documents, videos, images that you may want to supply to the show organizer. And it will also contain hyperlinks for the company's website, products, news, social media accounts, those sorts of things. It'll also have some type of interactive function, whether it's chat, group chat, one-on-one. It could also include video calls, as well as a contact us link and also the ability to see other people that have been attending this booth. And just like most things, these are all scalable and these are all customizable from the sense of different packages that are being offered by the show organizers. Here's a good example of an exhibitor's booth. You can choose from a number of different pre-designed booth templates, or you can upload a custom design. A virtual event booth includes digital content like documents, videos, links to web pages, etc. So basically the same functions that you would find from a show organizer supplied booth. There's some challenges obviously that are faced with the exhibitors by booths that are supplied by organizers. So the first and foremost is obviously it's a lack of variety. It's difficult to stand out from the crowd. Generally speaking, when you have a lack of variety, it's bland. It doesn't attract the eyeballs. We come from, at Exponents, a physical space, exhibition design philosophy that highlights uniqueness. We want to attract eyeballs to your site within the trade show hall, direct those eyeballs to drive traffic to your specific exhibit, and then from there, develop additional leads. Additionally, there's no organic user experience. It's basically a web page. As a result of that, your engagement's poor. It's a poor experience. People aren't really feeling particularly excited about not just your booth, but the experience in general. In addition, there's usually a lack of ability to showcase a particular product. It's a very cookie cutter approach, and it's difficult to make it function in the way that you might want to have function in a normal physical environment. What are we offering here at Exponents? In a nutshell, it's a custom designed virtual trade show booth. Some of the key features of our offering is number one, that it's a 360-degree virtual 3D exhibit tour. It'll also include all of the normal features like live chat or a video call. The advantage, of course, with our solution is that it's scalable, extendable, and reusable. Traditionally speaking, if you're using a virtual trade show booth that's supplied by an exhibitor, it's only going to be usable for that particular exhibit. What this will do is it'll allow you to take this virtual booth that you've now become fully familiar with, its functionality as well as its customized design capabilities, and allow you to take it from show to show, much in the same way that you would take a physical exhibit stand. It'll appear very similar to a traditional exhibit trade show booth. They'll be able to have audio visual presentations appearing even like monitors on screens, just like as you would in a large trade show hall. Those videos are usually, they're able to capture eyeballs from across the hall, drive traffic to your booth. This is going to be much in the same way. It's going to give you a platform to give an experience of your brand and your company. It's not just going to be basically a sign and a link to your website. It's a turnkey solution. So it's a microsite or a fully hosted site, and it's for 1 year. We also have points of interest contact, which includes PDFs, video, imagery, links to schedule a meeting, a demo, or a webinar. You can also add a registration option. You'll have full media linkage capability. You can promote your site on social media. You can promote your event. You can also promote your exhibit in a standalone capacity. And it'll give you the opportunity to take surveys from your attendees and allow them to provide you feedback as well. Obviously, this next feature is really important. It's really why we're all here, and that's a lead capture. All of this is well and good, but if you're not able to capture the leads from those that are visiting it, the rest of this is really academic. It's a very important feature, and you'd be surprised that that capability is not normally found in a standard show offered exhibit booth. In addition, you'll have a floor plan with navigational links. What this will do is provide a 3D environment, and within that 3D environment, that floor plan will allow you to feature and highlight different areas of your booth, whether it's an audiovisual presentation, a live one-on-one interaction, a product demonstration, much in the same way that a floor plan for an exhibit hall will give you different directions for the different types of things that you might want to see in a given exhibit. We can also add background music or an audio introduction to your site. We can also do animations. Another key feature is it's owned by you, the customer. This is not something that is proprietary and it's owned by an exhibitor. This is your trade show booth, much in the same way that you can own your own trade show booth. There's secured access if that's required. And it also includes hotspots and info spots, which we can cover in a little more detail a little further on down the road. So what does all this mean? Well, here at Exponents, we've developed a system that we think is going to work really well for both every budget and every need. We have 5 basic offerings. We have a novice level, which is basically an introductory booth. It's going to give you some of the features that go above and beyond what a traditional show organizer is going to supply you with. And it's good for those that are on a conservative budget or are just looking to dip their toes into the virtual trade show booth world. From there, we go to the standard package, then the pro. Finally, our premium package, which is going to include all of the items that you see listed on the left-hand column. As far as pricing goes, that's something that we can all discuss maybe on a more one-on-one environment once we really understand what you're looking to accomplish, what your objectives and goals are for your booth. Again, because this is a customized solution, it's going to be really important. In fact, it's going to be critical for Exponents and for you and your design team to have a conversation and to come up with a brief that's going to capture all of the necessary requirements that you're expecting from this particular booth, whether it's a particular show or you're going to take this booth from show to show and you have specific objectives for that show or booth. And then, of course, our last package is our enterprise package, which is a fully customized solution. Basically, anything that you can conceive or think up, we have a team of designers and engineers who can mirror that brief with a final product. And again, it's just a question of having that discussion, and anything that's not listed here that's something that you think is critical, or if there's some other key key indicator or key product feature that's not listed here that you know you need, please let us know. We can always incorporate that, and that's what the enterprise solution is for. I'd like to give you a couple of examples of some of our booths. We can talk, first of all, here about our Clio package. Okay, so this is having some trouble with my webinar, Rajnikant. This is where, let's see if this is going to work. Yeah, okay, so there we go. This is where I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about these different offerings and give them a walkthrough. I don't think the Wi-Fi here is, I was testing it out earlier, it's not going to work super well from where I'm at, so I'm going to have to get a hard line put in here. So let's talk about the different parts of the package. You've got a 360 tour, you've got your booth design, your web design, your storyboard, any animation that you may have, and then of course, where are you going to host this? On your website, or do you want us to create a microsite? So why would you want to get a custom virtual exhibit booth? Number one, it's going to allow you to reach out to a larger audience. People are visiting the virtual show or people that are in your own database. Much like I'm going to record this presentation and share it with you all at the end of this presentation, and you're free to share it with others. In the same way, you can allow your booth to, say, go viral. This can be shared over and over again. The second is it's a unique and creative design. It's designed to engage and attract more visitors. Like we talked about earlier, having a cookie cutter or samey approach is not going to really drive the traffic to your virtual booth. To enable you to creatively present all of your products and services. A good example of this would be Canon. There's going to be a link that I'm going to share with you at the end. I'd like you to review it in detail. There's some really creative ways that they've been able to feature some of their new products in a way that wouldn't be particularly feasible in a traditional show organizer presented booth. You're also able to create your own events in your own event format. You don't need to necessarily wait for a show organizer to put on a show. You can do it yourself. You can collaborate with peers in your industry and create your own event. You can also use this as an experience or demo tool during your webinar or online meetings or small focus groups or demo groups. Much in the same way that we were able to feature some of the booths that we've developed here, you can do the same for your virtual meetings, your webinars, your informational sessions. There's no restriction on the design or the space. You're not limited to a 10 by 20 or 20 by 20 space. It can be as large as you can imagine, and you don't have any height requirements. You don't have any additional requirements from an exhibitor. It's your space to design it as you wish. It can also be configured in any language or any product group within the company. It's fully customizable. It can also do hybrid events, or it can do live streaming from the show or create an online event. So the process begins with a brief. As I mentioned earlier, our conversation is going to be the key to providing the right solution for you. It's all well and good for us to sit here and talk about what we can do, but if what we can do doesn't match what you're looking to accomplish, the rest of this is strictly academic. That brief is going to be the key that drives the rest of this process. Once we receive a brief and we've been able to identify not only all of your needs, but all of your wants and your ultimate objective, not just with this particular booth, but also getting a better understanding of where you see your business going in the next 30, 60, 90 days, 1 year, 5 years, we'll be able to create a 3D design storyboard and give you a provisional offer. Once we've agreed on the level, the pricing, the design, we'll get our approval from you. We'll go through our changes and create a finalized design. From there, we'll collect all of the digital assets from you, populate those into the exhibit booth, finalize the page and all of the links, and run through it with you through a demo and a QC process, figuring out how does it work? How do you work? How does it work for you as a presenter? What are the common questions? How do I do this? How do I do that? Once that begins, we do a final deployment for you. Do you have a show that's scheduled on a specific date? Do you need help integrating with the show site services? Much in the same way that we do it for a traditional physical booth, we can do the same type of integration for you in your deployment. And then, of course, after the show, we need to reconnect. What types of support do you need ongoing, technical support, guidance, redesign, anything like that? That will be part of the post-launch support process. Again, we're not going to give you one booth and then send you out to the wolves. We're going to be able to continue to provide that support in an ongoing basis. So at this point, I'd like to open up the floor for questions. If you need any more information, drop us a line, or you can click there on that link and you can send an email over to us. My phone number is also there below. Please do give me a call if you have any questions. Otherwise, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and I look forward to speaking with you.